Morning, everyone. For some reason, the Mountain Dew colored screen is back, and I don't know why. Hope it's not too distracting. If it is, just cover the screen. Whoa, it goes really green, really green. Hey, now we're no. Oh. Anyway, moving on. It was great seeing you all at youth group last night. Very encouraging to see where you guys are at, how much you want to learn, and how much you want to grow together. And reach out to the rest of the youth in this valley. I just want to remind you guys that tonight at 7 o'clock we have our worship service at C3. And then also, if you're wanting to help out at the float, there's going to be plenty of work going on with that. You guys can contact Andrew or Casey to get involved with that. You can find them on Facebook, and they will get you guys plugged in. Again, Elise and I will be gone this weekend, but we will be back. And if you have any questions, some of you have sent some questions on Facebook. You can keep doing that. We will have internet, even though we're going to Redneckville, Wisconsin, and then we'll be back on Tuesday. Let's go ahead and jump into Philippians chapter 2. I'm just going to read verses 1 through 4. So if there is any encouragement in Christ, any comfort from love, any participation in the Spirit, any affection and sympathy, complete my joy by being of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. Do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. If we just kind of pick apart those verses there at the beginning, when he asks if there is any encouragement in Christ, or any comfort in love, any participation in spirit, any affection or in sympathy, those are things that if you're following the Lord on a personal, individual level, you're going to have encouragement in Christ. When things are rough, you will be encouraged, knowing that you are in Him and He is working through you, and you have an eternity with Him. Any comfort from love, um, you're going to experience that comfort from love um, as a believer. You're going to feel like you did last night when you were sitting with other believers and being encouraged and hearing what's going on overseas and whatnot. You're going to have comfort from that love. Any participation in the Spirit, that's basically being used. Is if the Lord is using you, that's participation in the Spirit. Any affection and sympathy, that's caring for others and um, uh, basically serving others. He says, if there's this, if there's that, if there's this, if there's this, those are things that should be happening. If you're following the Lord, those things should be happening. So when he says in verse 2, complete my joy by being of the same mind, that's like the icing on the cake. That's going beyond just, serving on your own, trying to do things on your own. It's very much like what we were talking about of working together, of being together in this. He says, having the same mind, having the same love, um, pursuing the same things. It's very easy for churches and youth groups to start pursuing different separate interests, different groups within churches and youth groups to pursue different interests. You have some people say, well, we're all about missions, and so everything else doesn't matter because we're doing missions and it's better than what you're doing. Or you have some people say, we're into helping the homeless and what you're doing doesn't really matter because there's such a need in the homeless. Then you have another group saying, well, we're studying doctrine and you think this one thing just a little differently than I do. And so we can't talk. We can't even be in the same room together. And all that stuff that Paul says, if there's this, if there's that, and all those things that would normally come and just naturally come from trying to follow the Lord, those things just get wiped out by not being of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. That doesn't mean that a church should only, serve the homeless, should only work on missions, should only pursue knowing complete and full doctrine. No, God gives each person separate gifts and separate abilities and gives separate passions so that as a whole the church can reach far more people. And so that the people who are passionate about the homeless, they have backup support to help them in that work that they're doing. For those that are passionate about doctrine, there's people to encourage them to go out and serve, but also they can encourage people as they study the Word to know what they believe and to help them be solid in their faith. That's why it says in verse 3, do nothing from rivalry or conceit. If you remember from the first chapter, Paul says there are some people preaching Christ out of rivalry. And he said, fine, as long as Christ is being preached. But here he says, for you guys, don't do it out of rivalry or jealousy, as what other people are doing. Don't serve just to try to be better than someone else. Um, but in humility count yourselves or count others more significant than yourselves. Um, Always look up to the ministry that someone else is doing who's truly serving the Lord, and see how you can come along and encourage them instead of trying to figure out what they're doing wrong so that you can come and do it better. That's a mentality that exists in the American job market. It does not belong in the church. It's a mentality that exists in your high school and junior highs. It does not belong in the church. You will tear each other apart, and everything that you hate about school and about work is going to come right into your church, and you will be cut short from the joy that you could experience in true fellowship. Um, Verse 4, let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also the interests of others. A little later this year, we're going to talk about gifting and how you can be used and what kind of things you can look for with the different gifts that God has given each one of you, so that you can pursue his will for your life. And one of the things that's really important with that is if you feel that you've been gifted in such a way, that does not mean that's the only thing that you do. Some people in our church are very gifted at service. Does that mean that they should avoid teaching? Well, sometimes God calls you to come alongside and help teach someone something when they don't know what to do, but you do. You can't be like, well, I'm not gifted in teaching, because God has called you to help your brothers and sisters. If you've been called to teaching, that means that you shouldn't be skipping on serving. You should be, helping serve in every way that you can. Um, Seeing other people's uh, own other interests aside from your own, different passions, come alongside and help people with their passions. It'd be very easy to just get obsessed with this one area that you feel that you're good at and not help your brothers and sisters with that. When we all work together and we're all helping each other, we're able to accomplish a lot more. I just want to encourage you with that today. We're praying for you. We love you guys, and I hope to see you at church tonight.